Banaras, the city resting beside the sacred Ganges, where life and death meet each other every single day, where the lamps floating on the river flicker like tiny hopes, and the temple bells echo through the stillness of night, as if awakening lost souls. In one of the city's old quarters lived a simple, innocent girl, Anjali. Her house stood close to the ghats, a small, two-story home surrounded by rose and jasmine plants, their fragrance mingling with the morning breeze. Her mother would perform puja at dawn, her father worked at the ghats, and Anjali spent her days helping the neighborhood children study. Everyone used to say, Anjali's smile holds the light of Banaras itself. Her life was ordinary, yet her heart carried big dreams. Marriage, a new home, and a new life with Adifir. Adifir was from Delhi, charming, soft-spoken, and kind-hearted. The first time he came to Banaras, he saw Anjali at the ghats, setting little lamps afloat on the river with the children. That moment, Adifir froze. Later he told his friend, "It felt as if the goddess of the Ganges herself had smiled at me." After a few meetings, their marriage was arranged. Joy filled Anjali's home. Her mother said with pride, "My daughter will be a bride of Delhi. She'll live like a queen." But deep inside, Anjali felt an uneasy stir. Sometimes when she looked into the mirror, she felt the face was hers, but the eyes belonged to someone else. The first dream. That night, the moon shimmered on the Ganges like silver dust. Anjali found herself standing in a dark room, red lamps flickering around her, broken bangles, torn pieces of a sari, and blood stains on the floor. By the wall stood a woman, her long hair loose, her face blurred, but her eyes, red and furious. Her lips moved. "This marriage cannot happen. This marriage cannot happen." Anjali woke up screaming. Her heart was pounding, sweat rolled down her face. Her mother rushed in. "What happened, my child?" Anjali told her everything. Her mother smiled gently. "Dreams trouble brides-to-be. Sprinkle Ganga water around the room. Everything will be fine." Anjali nodded, but sleep had abandoned her. The second night, the same dream returned. But this time, the woman came closer. Anjali could see the blood on her sari, and hear the soft jingle of broken bangles. The woman whispered coldly, "Why are you taking my place?" Anjali jolted awake. The room was dark, only a single lamp burning. She reached for a glass of water, and froze. Next to the glass lay a bangle, soaked in blood. Anjali screamed. Her parents ran in, but the bangle was gone. The floor was dry. Her mother said, "You're imagining things, child." But in Anjali's heart, a terrifying certainty took root. Someone was there. The woman by the river. The next morning, Anjali sipped tea on her balcony. Below, the Ganges flowed calmly, lamps drifting on its surface. At the distant ghat, she saw a woman, draped in a white sari, hair loose, face hidden by fog. The woman was staring straight at her. Anjali blinked, and the figure vanished. Only rippling waves remained, and the flickering lamps glowed faintly over the water. Fear crept into Anjali's chest. Am I losing my mind? Or is there really someone who doesn't want me to marry? Adifir's secret. That evening, Adifir called. "How's my bride-to-be?" Smiling, I hope. Anjali hesitated. "Adifir, sometimes I feel like someone is angry with me. As if they don't want this wedding to happen." Adifir laughed softly. "It's all in your head, Anjali. Once we're married, everything will be fine." But after hanging up, his own smile faded. Because the night before, he had seen a dream too. A woman rising from the Ganges, staring straight into his eyes. Her voice cold and sharp. "You broke your promise, Rajnath." Adifir woke up with a start. Rajnath, that was his grandfather's name. The Haveli. 2 days later, Adifir arrived in Banaras. "Come. I'll show you my grandfather's old house." Their car wound through the narrow lanes until it stopped before an ancient Haveli. The walls were wrapped in vines, the door covered in cobwebs, and the air smelled of damp earth and forgotten years. Anjali gazed at the house. It felt strangely familiar, as if it remembered her. Adifir unlocked the door. "This belonged to my grandfather, Rajnath. They say his first love lived here too, but she disappeared before their wedding." Anjali's heart sank. She stepped inside. The air was cold, the silence thick. On the wall hung an old portrait. A young bride in a red sari, eyes soft yet filled with sorrow. Anjali whispered, "Who is she, Adifir? That must be the girl my grandfather was supposed to marry." Her name was Roopa. A chill ran down Anjali's spine. Roopa, the same name she'd heard in her dreams. Suddenly, a gust of wind swept through the room. The portrait trembled, and an old bangle fell from behind the frame, dripping with blood. Anjali's hands trembled. A diffier. I want to leave now. The possession. That night, Anjali couldn't sleep. After a diffier left, she sat up. The air around her felt heavy. The lamp flickered. The door creaked open, slowly, on its own. Then came the voice. You took my place, Anjali. A mist rose in the center of the room. From it emerged a face, half-burned. Eyes red, lips curved into a ghostly smile. My promise was left unfulfilled. Now you will take my place. Anjali screamed. The world spun around her, and she collapsed to the floor, unconscious. Anjali lay unconscious on the cold floor. When she opened her eyes the next morning, a diffier was sitting beside her. What happened, Anjali? How did you get these scratches on your forehead? Anjali tried to remember, but her mind was blank. All she could recall was mist of voice and a name, Roopa. Roopa's truth. That evening, a diffier's old servant Raghu brought Anjali a wooden chest. Madam, this was found in the Haveli's basement. No one ever opened it. The chest was covered in rust. Anjali broke the lock open. Inside lay an old letter, a few faded photographs, and a red sari, stained with dried blood. The letter read, My dearest Rajnath, I know your family will never allow our marriage. But you promised, no matter what happens, you will make me your bride. If you betray me, I swear, no bride in your bloodline will ever find happiness. Yours forever, Roopa. Anjali's hands trembled. The ink had faded, but the words still seemed to burn. The story of Rajnath. Raghu spoke softly, his voice heavy with old memories. Madam, Roopa was beautiful, and Rajnath Sahib truly loved her. But his family opposed the marriage. She was poor, from a humble home. On the wedding night, under pressure, Rajnath married another woman. Anjali's breath caught. And what happened to Roopa? Raghu's eyes filled with tears. That very night, she went to the Ganges and drowned herself. Since then, this Haveli has been cursed. Every bride who came here either died within days or lost her mind. Anjali's face turned pale. You mean the curse still lives? Not lives, madam, Raghu whispered. It wanders. The possession begins. That night, Anjali dreamed again. But this time, it wasn't a dream. The air in the room was still. The lamp went out by itself. A shadow appeared on the wall. And then, Roopa's voice. Didn't I tell you, this marriage cannot happen? Anjali screamed. What do you want from me? I never harmed you. Roopa's spirit laughed, a hollow, echoing sound. You did nothing. But the one you love, he carries Rajnath's blood. My vengeance will be fulfilled through him. Anjali's body began to tremble. Her eyes rolled back, and slowly she sank to the floor. When she lifted her head again, her eyes had changed. She was no longer Anjali. She was Roopa. The night of vengeance. The wedding day arrived. The mandip was set beside the sacred Ganges. Lamps glowed, flowers perfumed the air. A diffier held Anjali's hand as the priest began chanting mantras. Then, the sky darkened. Thunder roared. The wind screamed. The Ganges began to rise. Anjali slowly turned toward a diffier. Her eyes gleamed red, just like Roopa's. Do you remember your promise? You said you would make me your bride. A diffier stepped back, terrified. Anjali, this isn't you. No, I am the one your grandfather betrayed, and your blood will pay for his sin. A piercing scream echoed through the storm. The waves of the Ganges surged over the mandip. Everything was swallowed. A diffier's hand slipped from hers, and he was dragged into the crimson water. The Ganges turned red. Roopa's promise was fulfilled. Morning in Banaras. The next morning, people at the ghats saw a strange sight. A woman in a white sari, her hair loose, sitting by the water, smiling softly. Someone asked, Who are you, lady? She whispered, I am the bride of Banaras, and no promise remains unkept now. Then she stepped into the Ganges and vanished into the mist. They say, whenever a wedding takes place beside the Ganges in Banaras, the air fills with the sound of bangles clinking, and a whisper drifts across the water. This marriage cannot happen, reality or curse. Some say Anjali never died, that she still wanders the Haveli, a living corpse. Others say she became Roopa's spirit, possessing every new bride that enters the house, so that the curse of Banaras lives on forever. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon. Because in the next tale, the spirit of Banaras returns.